What's up, guys? Building or buying a race simulator is not cheap. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the racing simulator slash drift simulator I'm building for under $2,000. For this build, I got a JEGS adjustable seat back racing seat. This ran for about $200. This MSI 32-inch gaming monitor, this was $200 from Walmart. I also got this Thrustmaster H-pattern shifter. This was $135, and it allows you to shift in H-pattern or sequential. And then I also got this Thrustmaster's Handbrake. I don't remember the exact price of this. It was like maybe 60 bucks or something. I also got these 3-inch caster wheels from Lowe's. These are like $18 a piece. I was going to use a 4-inch, but I'm planning to paint my rig black, and this was the only size they had that was black. So I just kind of wanted that to match. So I went with these. I'm going to try them out. Hopefully they work well. They're rated for 100 pounds each. So in theory, this should support about 400 pounds on this rig. These also come with brakes and a swivel. And the cool thing about this brake system is whenever you engage it, it locks these teeth so that the swivel doesn't move. So these should be pretty nice and stable overall, I believe. My only concern would be with the racing seat towards the back of the rig. The majority of the weight's going to be the driver, obviously, and so for heavier drivers, this might be possibly a little bit too much for these casters, but we're going to try that out and see. So I got the platform here built with the monitor stand installed. Now all I'm waiting on is the Thrustmaster's TS300 racing simulator wheel to come in. That should be here later this week. That was about $400, so I'll leave a link to these parts in the description below. Alright guys, I chose to build my own drift sim rig here in order just to save some money. I did a lot of research, a lot of looking around. You can buy some drift sim rigs fairly cheap in the $200 to $300 range. If you're going to set this up in front of a TV or a screen where you don't need a monitor stand or even a desk. Like I said in some of my previous videos, I was looking at doing a projector screen here on this wall, but because of the height of where the screen would be and the drift simulator sitting much lower, I felt like it would just really be a strain on the neck to be like looking up. So I decided to build this monitor stand in order to mount a monitor onto the rig, and because of that, any rig that had a monitor stand and had places to mount the pedals, the steering wheel, and the shifter, you started getting into the $1,000+ range. So like I said, I decided to build this rig just to save some money. I bought all this wood and hardware for about 160 bucks, including a quart of black paint, which was like 30 bucks. But the problem I'm working on solving now is whenever I put this seat on here, as you can see, the bar that allows the seat to adjust forward and backwards is pretty close down here. And so what I had to do is add a couple extra pieces of 2x4 to get this up high enough so that this bar wasn't being pushed up and keeping the seat in an unlocked position, plus just to even be able to get your hand around it. So now that I've got that sorted out, next I got to figure out how I'm going to mount this seat to this platform. I bought a bunch of hardware at Lowe's today, and none of it's going to work. The biggest issue is I bought hex head bolts, which doesn't allow you to actually get a socket on them, so I'm probably going to have to get a bolt that you can put an Allen key on, or a screwdriver, or I'm possibly thinking about maybe just screwing these down and putting a washer in here. But in order to do that, I have to take these seat rails off the seat. So I'm not sure if I want to do that, because it presents a greater challenge of being able to go back and bolt the seat to the rails. So anyway, I'm in the process of figuring that out. So I'm going to go ahead and clear off this table and put the rig up here and start painting it to allow it to dry overnight. I really wanted to finish building the rig before I painted it initially, but like I said, I'm still waiting on the wheel and the pedals, so I want to see that hardware first before I actually build something to mount the wheel to, so I can make sure I got the proper height for the wheel. And then if I need to put some sort of angle on the base platform for the pedals, then I'll do that as well. All right, guys, day 2, working on the racing simulator, drift simulator rig. Put a couple coats on this paint last night. Just now checking it out for the first time since I had a chance to dry. I was a little bit concerned when I put on the first coat of paint. This black paint looked like almost blue. It had a bluish tint to it, and there are some spots here on the wood that was really showing through. But I went ahead and applied a second coat, and everything's looking really good. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and install these caster wheels and get this rig set on the ground. Alright guys, there it is. Off to the hardware store, off to the hardware store. So many trips to the hardware store. Narrow, wide, narrow, wide. Wider is better. All right, guys, I got the wheels on here, got the seat mounted, and I sat in it. Whenever I lock these down, especially if they're like an odd angle, this thing kind of moved back and forth a little bit. It's not going to be completely stable, I think, on these casters, but overall, I don't think that there's going to be really enough movement when you're playing a game that you're, really going to notice it. Maybe you'll feel it a little bit. Maybe you'll actually feel like you're drifting. I don't know. But I'm going with the wide setting just because, obviously, wider will be more stable. What's up, guys? It's day 4 here, working on this drift simulator build, getting it here even on a Sunday. But I want to show you the progress I've made so far, and I hope to be able to get the rest of the hardware installed here today. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected, but like almost with anything in life or any projects, it always takes a little longer than you think. But here's what I got so far. I got the shifter and handbrake installed. I built this mount here to mount those two. It's set up pretty well. There's a few things here that I'm not quite sure about yet. As you can see, this mounting plate, there's a little gap here, and that's caused by the screws that hold the shifter to the mounting plate. So I may need to take that back off and make a little place. This mount here to allow that to set more flat. I may need to add another bolt or something here in order just to make this a little bit more secure. I also got the pedals set in place, and I built this little stand here on the back that allows the pedals to be elevated a little bit so that they're in a little bit better position for driving, and then a backstop to keep the pedal box from sliding. The next step is going to be to get the mount for the steering wheel built. As you can see here, I've got this mount started. Worked on this some the other night, but it was getting late, so I had to stop. But what I'm trying to do here is the side post. I've actually made some slots here for these bolts so that the actual steering wheel mount can slide up and down and be tilted a little bit, just to give it some adjustability. And I'm using a technique that you see common with furniture, where you create a recessed hole here where the bolt goes through so that you can put a nut in order to tighten down the bolt. On this side, I still got to finish boring these holes out a little bit more and cleaning things up so I can actually get the bolt and mounting hardware in on that side. So I'm going to start working on that now. I know it's not the cleanest look, but this is on the bottom side of the mount, so you won't actually see these. And then I got to figure out a way to get the monitor mounted to the rig. So I'm going to start working on that here now, and hopefully get to the point where I can start hooking up all this equipment to the laptop so we can get ready to install the games and start drifting. Alright guys, I got the steering wheel mount on, and just applied paint to that, as well as the brake pedal stop. I'm going to allow that to dry for a while now. I'm getting ready to start on mounting the monitor, and I thought about using this bracket or the monitor stand that comes with this monitor, and trying to actually somehow attach it here on the stand. So I've thought about that, but sitting in the seat, I feel like the monitor might be a little bit too far back from the driver, and it may not feel as realistic as it would be if the monitor was mounted closer to the driver. So I'm getting ready to go grab a monitor wall mount, and I'm going to try that out. I think that'll give this a much better feel. It will bring the screen closer to the player, and it'll feel like you're more in a car where the windshield's a little bit closer to you, instead of, you know, having your windshield like 4 or 5 feet in front of you. So I'm going to go do that now and charge up some batteries for the GoPro, grab some lunch, and then I'll come back and try to get this monitor mounted. All these parts that I'm using, there's links down in the description below. You can watch my last video where I go over which parts I'm using, such as the Thrustmaster's T300RS wheel and this MSI 32-inch curved gaming monitor. But like I said, I'm gonna go grab some lunch for now and get this mounted. Lunchtime, yum. that was kind of surprising. I figured Walmart would at least have a monitor wall mount, but they didn't. All they had was mounts for TVs. So I'm gonna go check a couple other places, check GameStop, see that maybe Ace Hardware has some, which sounds kind of interesting, but I'm gonna check that out, or maybe go to Lowe's or last resort Best Buy if I'm trying to get one of these today. GameStop was a no. Ace Hardware, no. Wall mounts. Had a guy recommend this one right here, I believe it is. So 19 to 40 inch should work. I'm gonna try it out. All right, I got this Sano's full motion TV wall mounts. Don't really need full motion for this, but it was the only one I could find that looks like it'll work. So just gonna take this out of the box here, check things out and see if this is actually gonna work. And it's really gonna come down to this plate right here. And it looks like we have success. The bolt holes line up. I don't know if you can really see that on camera, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start mounting this. Alright guys, here it is. Got the monitor mounted, got the wheel mounted, got the shifter and handbrake mounted. Everything's looking really great so far. I still need to maybe touch up the shifter here. It's a little loose like I said, or just a little wobbly. But the wheel feels good, it feels just right. The monitor looks like it's in a perfect spot. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I still got to finish wiring everything up, hooking it up to the computer, installing software. I plan to work on that tomorrow. Alright guys, I spent a couple hours yesterday evening wiring everything up here. Got it all connected to the computer. Had some power issues, but got everything turned on, but the wheel didn't work. Neither did the shifter nor the pedals. I'm assuming I need to install some drivers, so I'm getting ready to work on that. But I just wanted to show you the wiring here real quick. Got everything wired up. Still need to clean this up. I just wanted to get everything connected first, make sure everything's working before I tidy up all the wiring, so I'm gonna work on that now. Alright guys, I downloaded the drivers for the Thrustmaster's TS300 wheel, installed that, tested everything out in the control panel. Now I'm on Assetto Corsa, and I am setting the inputs right now. I tried to do the configuration presets, but they didn't have my wheel listed, so I went over and I'm selecting each one of these individually and selecting the inputs, and then showing what inputs. So right now the brake input, and now that is selected, and now I got to go down to the clutch input. That one didn't work. Let me try it again. Click to assign. I didn't have it clicked, so I'm going to test that. And then the handbrake, waiting for input. So now that's all set. I got to do the same for the shifter, I believe. So I'm going to go up and select shifters, and then click to assign. So in this case, I'm using an H pattern. So I'm going to click to assign, and I'm going to go into 1. So that's set. I had to come back out of the gear to do that. Click for 2. Click for 3. And I'm realizing something here, guys. So see, this says button 6 for 1, and I had this set up this way, which is what I'd seen on one of the videos that showed on mounting this with the reverse up here. Normally in most cars you have the reverse down here, but the video that showed how you mounted this gearbox had this way, and I thought this may have been backwards because the cord was here. So what I may do then is actually go ahead and take this off and turn this around. This will give me more room for my cord. It'll allow me to route these cables better. And this cord is the shortest cord where it plugs into my laptop. So that'll give me more room to actually move my laptop. My laptop pretty much has to sit in that position right now, which is not a good place for it. And what I'm thinking about doing is actually building a little shelf here for my laptop so that I can actually sit it on something and reach it much easier from the seat. Alright guys, I took off the mounting bracket. I'm getting ready to reverse this shifter here, but like I said before, this was a little loose. You can actually see the indents. I don't know if you can see it on camera, kind of here where these screws are pressing into this plywood whenever these bolts were torqued down. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out a little spot there just for the heads of those screws so that sets flatter on this mount here. I'm going to go ahead and change the shifter around, and then I'll mount everything back up here, and we should be ready to play. Alright guys, now we are in business. So I got everything remounted, and I had to drill the holes a bit deeper. Finally got this plate mounted flushly. Everything feels really good now. It feels a lot more stable. So now we should be able to start playing some games. Alright guys, I'm not sure what is going on here. The revs are just revving. When I hit the gas pedal, the revs actually just die. And when I let off, it revs back up again. When I kick the clutch, it starts to go and then it just stops. It says I'm in gear. I'm not in gear. That doesn't have any effect on what gear I'm in. So anyway, I got some bugs to work out here, but first I've got some other responsibilities, such as taking the trash to the dump, and I've got some work to do on the tiny home. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now. One thing I need to fix is the sound output on the racing sim. I thought the monitor I had gotten had speakers on it. It does not. So right now I have to use headphones, and that's just not what I wanted. I've thought about using the speakers that I have mounted in the garage, but they are controlled by a receiver that's up in the house, and it's an older receiver, and I believe all it has is audio jacks in it. So what I'm going to try here is to get one of these Bluetooth audio receiver kits, try plugging this in. Hopefully I can hook it up to the Bluetooth on my laptop, and then that way comes out of the speakers all around in the garage. Those speakers down there are super loud, so it'll be great for gaming. Alright guys, I did some research and I found that these inputs, the throttle, the brake, the clutch, They need to be checked to inverted. So I'm going to do that now and test them out. So now that shows that the throttle's at 0, and and so now that shows that the throttle's at 0, and as I push the throttle, you see how it reacts. So I need to do the same for the brake and the clutch. And then I'm going to go to shifter because that wasn't working either. And then I'm going to select use separate shifter. Another thing I can do is add the sequential shifters. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then for the downshift, and I'm going to save to the current configuration. And now we should be able to go racing. All right, let's try this out. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Just getting used to all the controls here, and still learning how to actually find the gates and the shifter and try to control the steering wheel, and trying to film all at the same time just isn't ideal. But anyway, I'm gonna practice on this here a little bit, and I will bring you another update. Alright guys, I got the controls set up for the wheel and the pedals. I'm still having a little trouble with this shifter. For some reason I can't get this to shift in the game, nor can I get the paddles to shift. It seems like the car's in automatic, but I'm not sure how to change that. I've looked through everything I can. But I just wanted to update you on a couple other little things. I had a couple more little bolts here to this mount, and this feels way better. Way less loose than it was, way more stable. And then I also added this little platform here for the laptop, so it wasn't sitting down on the pedal box and getting stepped on. Plus I connected the steering post to the monitor mount with a 2x4 just to kind of sturdy everything up during gameplay. The monitor was shaking a little bit. The wheel was pretty stable for the most part. Other than maybe like when you went to like go sit down in the chair, you may have a tendency to place your hand on the wheel. Not that I really recommend that since it's just connected with plastic, but anyway, I went ahead and added that just to sturdy everything up. I think I might move the monitor up a couple more inches from the seat. It actually looks pretty good. It doesn't look bad at all. It just looks like it's just kind of low relative to the wheel a little bit, but you still have a complete clear view of the monitor in its current position. But I thought about raising it up just a little bit, and then that way you can also see the computer, or laptop rather. Plus now the laptop is in reach from the driver's seat, so that you don't have to get up out of the driver's seat to actually use the laptop. I also went back and redid all the wiring, got everything nice and neat, kind of out of the way so it's not being stepped on. So that's looking pretty good now, and I just need to work a little bit more on getting some sound. The headphones are fine for now, but this cord that I have for these particular set of headphones, the type of jack that plugs into the monitor, that's only about maybe a 3-foot cord or so, so during gameplay it's kind of in the way of the wheel. What's up, guys? It's kind of late here this evening. Spent the day working around the house and around the property and on some other business, but I had a couple hours earlier this evening to sit down and actually play on this racing slash drift simulator that I built. And I just wanted to give my feedback and review on this drift simulator that I built, along with the Assetto Corsa racing simulator game. For this build, I'm using the Thrustmaster's T300 RS steering wheel, along with the 3-pedal setup and this curved 32-inch MSI gaming monitor, along with this GSTP shifter, H-pattern shifter, and handbrake combo on this rig that I built out of wood and using a JEGS racing seat. There are links to all these parts down in the description below. All right, guys, that wraps it up here for me. I built this drift simulator to begin practicing drifting. Mainly, my intent here with this channel is to start bringing you more videos on car builds, drifting, and some action out on the road, maybe some road trips. I'm really considering possibly making some road trips later this year, but there's still a lot of things to be determined, so you guys know what to do. Be sure to hit that like button, be sure to hit subscribe, and stay tuned until next time. I hope you have a great day.